Hey, what's up, Outriders? Tolerant Madman here, showing you the newest video series on the channel. This will be every class in Outriders explained, but only through the eyes of a Pyromancer main. For the very first one, I decided we'd kick it off big and with the most controversial class in the entire game, the Devastator. Do you like rocks? Do you like thinking of death more as an option rather than a consequence? Do you think that bleed should be something that people are doing 24/7? Do you like jumping through the air, running through enemies, catching bullets, imitating Vlad the Impaler? You said yes to any of these, then I think I have the right class for you, my friend. So jumping right into the video, I'm going to ask that you like and subscribe, and we're going to get right into it. Why is this the most controversial class in the entire game? Well, it breaks down into two classes of people. The first one thinks that he's too weak and needs some kind of buff, and the other one thinks that he is way too powerful and he needs major nerfs. While the first class are being stuck on challenge tier 5 or 6 content, the second class of people are easily solo clearing Eye of the Storm on CT 15 with no problem. That is the biggest divide I've seen of any of the classes, which is what made me want to do this series starting with the Devastator, and we are going to be jumping right into our resident Rocky boy. With 3 distinct builds you could go for, no 3 Devastators will ever be playing the same, with the Vanquisher, the Warden, and the Seismic Shifter, also known as run-of-the-mill damage boy, never can die, and what enemy? The class. These 3, any combination will make you a very powerful Devastator up until the end game, in which case one of them's a little bit more skewed than the others, let's be honest. But any one of them is viable all the way through the campaign, and the 3 of them, if the perfect mix between Vanquisher and Warden, I've seen that go far too. Not matching up to Pyromancer, of course, but what can? Understanding the specifics of these different builds is very important. The top one being your standard run-of-the-mill run-and-gun soldier, the middle one being your classic RPG tank, and the bottom one just being a reenactment of that Sawtooth catchphrase.
Oh yes, there will be blood.
But in all seriousness, the Seismic Shifter is one of the most powerful builds in the entire game, with some of them easily clearing challenge tier 15 content solo, making it one of the most powerful builds you can have, let alone just on the Devastator. Though a Warden, if you really want to just tank damage, lots of damage. He is your go-to. Vanquisher, if you like playing Call of Duty. And don't get me wrong, Vanquisher's great, not Pyromancer levels of great, but what can be. And if I were to play Devastator, which I won't because it's not Pyromancer, I would probably take a mix of Vanquisher and Warden, unless I got that legendary armor set, you know what we're all talking about. Then I'd be going Seismic Shifter faster than you could ever imagine. But enough of that, let's get right into the skills. So maybe due to the fact that I don't play the character, but we have to go over to the Outriders wiki to be able to see the skills. Starting with the very first one, it is Earthquake, which is exactly what you think it is and does exactly what you think it does, releasing a shockwave to deal damage and interrupt all enemies in front of you. It has a 14-second cooldown. This one right here gives the Devastator his signature look. All those rocks, all that defense, all of that damage reduction. Covering yourself in rocks allows you to fortify against 65% of incoming damage for 8 seconds, which is amazing and is actually featured as a tier 2 mod that allows you to do this when you go under 30% health, which is just mwah, for us Pyromancers who won't dirty our hands being a Devastator. I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding. Let's get into the next one, Gravity Leap. This one is where you basically jump up into the air and then reenact the last part of Superman landing, where you smack into the ground and deal a bunch of damage. This one interrupts enemies as well, so you can use it to dodge out of attacks and then stop the enemy's attack midway. Say a crawler doing a obliterating beam. You get the gist. Now this one is my favorite one for my teammates to be using because it keeps them out of my way and I don't have to worry about it. Reflect Bullets. This one is great. It has a paragraph-long description, which is explaining the simplest thing in the world. You put it up, it catches bullets. After 10 seconds, it fires them back. That's about it. It is super cool. You reenact that one scene from X-Men where Magneto did the same thing. See, now this one isn't just meant for all of you Vlad the Impaler fans out there. This also, aside from dealing damage, it creates a zone that grants powerful bonuses to armor and health regeneration for you and your allies, making you basically a healer, but one that I don't want at my child's birthday party. Ah yes, another Devastator skill that is turned into a tier 2 mod for literally any other class. This is the Tremor, which is a small series of explosions that deal damage and drain health from enemies, and then what it says is a medium radius, and unless you're a Warden Devastator, I don't recommend you be within this radius to, say, a Bulwark. This is the skill for all you people wanting to cosplay as the Juggernaut, because you do exactly what he does. You rush at the enemy, you interrupt anyone in your path, and you deal damage. And at the end of the charge, you're going to smash into the ground, dealing damage in a radius around you. And it looks badass. Now for the final and most interesting skill set for this particular class, Endless Mass. You basically pull all your enemies into a small little radius around the stone. The stone explodes, dealing bleed damage. But where its true potential lies is with you stacking some of your more useful and better skills on top of it to hit a group of clumped up enemies like it's a piñata. That's just an old Pyromancer's take on the whole subject, but if you liked everything I said about the Devastator, then make sure that you go and play the Pyromancer instead. But if you are so opposed as you will not do that, then play Devastator, as the community has said it is the most frustrating or the most rewarding class you'll play in any video game ever. You be the judge of that. Come over to my Twitch and tell me what you think about the class once you've played a little bit of it. And make sure that you keep on tuning in for all these videos in this series. You have a great day, my friend.